What's up, guys? I hope you're all having a great day and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about something that could genuinely help a lot of you who are grinding ranked right now but feel stuck, like you're putting in the time but not seeing the results you want. If you don't know, a huge majority of the ranked player base actually sits in silver or gold, and the crazy part is, most players don't even fully understand why they're there or what they specifically need to do to improve and reach the next level. Now, I know the image I'm showing is a little outdated as it's from Modern Warfare 2022, but I honestly think it still holds true. If you look at the rank distribution, silver and gold alone make up about 57% of the entire player base, and if you throw plat in there too, that jumps to 71%. That means over two-thirds of ranked players are in those three divisions. So, if you're in that range and you're just trying to get slightly better at the game, slightly more consistent, and slightly smarter on the map, you're in the right place. For context, I'm still Plat 3 because I haven't been able to play the game as much as I'd like to, but in last year's title, I was hovering around Crim 1 for the most part. And with that said, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, let's get into one of the most fundamental aspects of ranked play, which is your gun skill and your map positioning. Before anything else, you do need to guarantee that you're getting your own on the map. You need to be able to win gunfights, especially the ones you should be winning when you have the clear advantage. Now, obviously, not everyone is going to have elite top tier gun skill, but there are some really easy improvements you can make that will instantly increase your chances in fights. The first one is centering. Way too often I see players running around the map with their crosshairs pointed at the floor or the ceiling. It seems small, but it makes a huge difference. Because if your crosshair isn't already where an enemy might appear and someone pops onto your screen, you're not actually ready for the gunfight. When you don't center properly, you're forced to flick onto people, and flicking is not a consistent way to win gunfights at all. So if you notice that you have this habit, try to work on it and actively try to fix it. If you're about to run into a room and you know there's a common head glitch people love to sit on, have your crosshairs already placed on it before you even challenge, and I promise you, you'll start winning that fight way more often. Also, make sure you're running the best possible classes, which I almost forgot to mention. I'm not going to go into the attachments because there's already a million videos on it, but just make sure your M15 and Dravik builds are optimized. There's no reasons to handicap yourself while playing ranked play. Now, beyond centering in classes, another massive factor in winning more gunfights is your positioning. Positioning is everything. If you consistently put yourself in more favorable spots than the enemy team, you'll naturally start winning more engagements. And if you're wondering, okay, but how do I actually get into better positions? That leads me directly into the next thing I want to talk about, which is map and game mode knowledge. This right here is the key, and honestly is probably the most important aspect of ranked play once you reach a certain skill level in COD. This is what separates gold and plat lobbies from diamonds. When you're in public matches, or pubs for short, nobody cares about the objective. Let's be honest, the only thing most people are thinking about is how many kills they can drop. But ranked is completely different. In ranked, a lot more goes into winning than just stacking kills. Kills still matter, obviously, but the timing of your kills and the purpose behind them matter way more than the raw number itself. And I know that might sound like a little confusing at first, but once you really start understanding the maps and the modes, you'll see exactly what I mean. In ranked, it's not just about the kills, it's about the actual objective. The hill and hardpoint, the bomb in S&D, and the EMP and overload. I'm not going to dive into S&D in this video because it's pretty straightforward compared to the others, and I'm going to mainly focus on hardpoint rather than overload, just because overload is still newer and honestly it has a lot of nuances that even I'm still learning. So let's talk about hardpoint. Starting with hardpoint, the first thing you need is a basic understanding of where each hill is on each map and the order they rotate in. That alone lets you be proactive instead of reactive. You're not just chasing the current hill and you're thinking ahead. But knowing the next rotation is only half of it. The real skill gap is knowing what to do with that information, and that's securing spawns for the next point. Most spawns are pretty straightforward. They're usually on the back side of the hill, and if you stand deep enough in that area before the new hill pops, you'll force your team to spawn there and push the enemy team out. And this alone massively increases your chances of holding that hill. It's way easier to hold a point when the enemy team is running at you instead of you spawning out and having to run at them every time. The more you start prioritizing rotations and spawn control, the more you'll understand hardpoint at a real level, and you'll see your SR start to rise because of it. You can genuinely go from silver to plat just by rotating early and playing for spawns, instead of sprinting straight at the current hill every single time. And another benefit of rotating early is something I mentioned earlier, positioning. When you set up first, you naturally end up in the strongest spots on the map. Whether that's holding a cross the other team has to run through, locking down a lane, or sitting on a head glitch, they're forced to challenge you, and you're dictating the fight instead of reacting to it. And that's a huge difference over the course of a whole hardpoint game. Now, everything I've talked about so far, that'll take you probably from gold to plat. If you clean up your gunfights, fix your centering, learn rotations, and start playing for spawns, you will climb, and it's that simple. But if you want to hit that next level, if you're trying to break out of plat and actually push into diamond, you've got to go one step further than just rotating early in hardpoint. Because once you're in plat, most players know the basics. This is where the real separation starts. The next skill gap, and the one that separates high ranked players from the plat stuck players, is their understanding and use of the minimap. The minimap in COD is the most important thing in the game, and honestly, most of the time, it's more important than what's directly in front of you. It doesn't just show you when an enemy shoots, it shows you where your teammates are, what parts of the map you control, and where the gaps are. And this becomes even more important when you're solo queuing or not really getting good comms. The minimap basically becomes your communication system. Now, assuming you already have that basic understanding of rotations and spawns within Hardpoint, the next level is letting the minimap dictate your decisions. If you see two of your teammates holding back spawns and watching the flank, why are you also sitting back there? That tells you the front is probably open, and that's your cue to step up and hold the cross or push out and cut lanes. Every hill has moments like this. Every rotation has moments like this. The difference is higher ranked players are consistently processing that information, while plat players just kind of run where they feel like running and go from there. So next time you play, force yourself to glance at the minimap constantly. Not just glance at it, actually process it. Ask yourself, where are my teammates, what lanes are open, and where can the enemy spawn? You'll start to notice your games feel slower, easier, and more controlled. And that's not because the lobby changed, it's because your awareness did. Now, in order to use the minimap properly, you have to have some faith in your teammates. And that leads into the next thing I want to talk about, not getting checked, especially by your teammates. You will gain way more SR if you stop letting yourself get tilted mid-game. I talked about this in my last video, but I'll keep it simple here. Drop the ego. You're not a CDL pro, and neither are the three randoms you just queued with. Mistakes are going to happen, people are going to sell, rotations will get messed up. The more you can stay composed and not let it get to you, and just focus on what you control, the more SR you'll gain, and the faster you'll climb out of plat, or whatever rank you're stuck in. Because once you get checked, your minimap awareness drops, your positioning drops, and you start making ego plays instead of smart plays, and that's how every game slips. Another huge thing that plat players struggle with, and that nobody really talks about enough, I feel like, is simply playing your life. This sounds basic, but it's not. One of the biggest differences between plat and diamond players is that diamond players know when to not take a fight, or at least most diamond players do, I feel like. Plat players over challenge constantly. They get one kill, get weak, and instead of backing up and letting their teammates play off that info, they ego chal again. Or they spawn up and go straight into a gunfight without thinking about timing. To win every single game, you don't have to win every single fight, especially in hardpoint. If you're holding a good setup and get one kill on the push, sometimes the best play is to just stay alive, back up and reposition, and regroup with your team. Make the enemy team run into you again. Timing is everything in HP, and if you're on the hill and you're weak, there's nothing wrong with tucking a corner and forcing them to clear you instead of wide swinging and throwing your life away. Every unnecessary death flips pressure. It messes up spawns, opens gaps, and forces your teammates to fill holes they shouldn't have to fill. Higher ranked players understand that staying alive is often more valuable than chasing that other kill. And this ties directly into what I said earlier about the purpose of kills. A single kill where you live and hold your position is way more impactful than getting two and instantly dying after. So start asking yourself mid-game, do I need to chow this, or can I just hold and make them come to me? If you clean that up alone, your deaths will drop, your hill time will go up, and you'll notice you're in control of games way more often. So if you really look at everything we've talked about so far, centering, positioning, rotations, spawns, minimap awareness, not getting checked and playing for your life, none of this is some crazy advanced mechanics. None of this requires insane CDL level gunny, and honestly, that's the funny part, because the majority of gold and plat players actually have the gun skill in my opinion. They can shoot straight, and they can win fights, and they can drop a load of kills. They just don't have the actual knowledge of how to play ranked more effectively. And that's the difference. Ranked isn't about who can sprint up the hill faster or ego child the most gunfights. It's about who understands the map better, who understands timing, who understands pressure, who understands when to fight and when to live. If you start applying even half of what we talked about in this video, I promise you, you'll start seeing your SR move up. You notice games feel slower, more controlled, and more predictable. And that's when you start feel like you're improving, and you actually are improving. Plat isn't supposed to be some impossible wall. It's just a rank where basic fundamentals start to matter more than your raw gun skill, which is what will carry you from bronze, silver, and gold. So take this stuff into your next session. Actually focus on it. Don't just watch the video and queue up playing the exact same way. And that's pretty much it here for me and everything I wanted to talk about. If this helped you at all, drop a like and comment what rank you are right now and what you feel like you're struggling with the most, and maybe I can make a video on that as well. So, appreciate you guys watching, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.